Hello viewers. Today we have Akash with us. Akash is a Master of Science in Data Science, has completed his studies from the University of Saarland. If you have not subscribed for the channel, please do subscribe. StumbleMeet is a channel for those who are looking forward for pursuing their higher education. Thanks a lot Akash for joining today.
Yeah, thanks, Venkatesh, for giving me this opportunity so that I can help many people at one time. So yeah, looking forward for that to talk with you, and let's discuss like how it went for me and what are the other things that I can tell from my experience.
Right, right. Let us start with a little introduction about yourself, Akash.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Akash Kumar, and I actually come from Rishikesh, Uttarakhand, in India. I have done all my schooling from there only. After that, I did my BTech from SRM Chennai main campus, Katankulathur, and I did my BTech in software engineering. There was a specific branch software engineering that time when I was doing, but now they have combined and it's like now single branch like CS. And while doing the bachelor's, I got a little bit of interest in machine learning and AI, and I thought of like pursuing masters in the similar field. So I started looking for the options, and I had like I come from a middle class family, and US is a very expensive option for I think anybody who tell them like for any middle class student. So I was looking for that option, and I got to know like okay, Germany is one of the option. I also searched a lot in Ireland because comparatively Ireland education or tuition fees are lower than UK or US. So that was also in my preference list. And my admission to German university was quite, I will say, at the last moment because my initial plan was to go to Ireland, and but due to the COVID, I changed that decision because in Ireland the masters was for 1 year, and I am not sure like how it's gonna be in during the peak COVID time. So I switched and do that thing to Germany, and that time all the admissions were closed. Only Saarland University was there, who was like actually rolling out the applications. So I applied, and yeah, like after that, I got my admission. I can talk about my profile and stuff later, but yeah, this is like all over like overview, like how I land up in job.
Right, right. Great that you touched some of the topics like cost of education and which we would like to speak more. In terms of, say, since you touched that specific subject, cost of education, and you also mentioned about Ireland and Germany, can you please
Yeah.
give us little more information on cost of education that a student can expect in Germany as well as in Ireland? Since you also researched more on
Yeah, yeah,
Ireland,
yeah.
can you please give us some comparison and yeah.
Yeah, sure. So most first thing, like in Ireland, most of the courses, masters, are for 1 year, and the tuition fee for year is around 14,000 euros to 18,000 euros, and rest you can calculate the living cost for a year. So I have calculated that time in 2020 around 23 24 lakhs in Indian rupees, and that includes both like the fees and the your living cost for a year. And in Germany, it's I think 24 lakhs is enough for 2 years because most of the universities are free. Here also, like some of the universities, like one of the best one, like TUM, have started the tuition fees, and I think they're gonna introduce it from this year. So I don't know how it will change the situation, but most of the universities are free. Tuition fees is not there. Only they'll take a very small portion, which they'll call it semester contribution, in which it will basically include administration fees, examination fees, and your public transport. So, for example, I am in Saarbrücken, which is capital of state Saarland. So I can travel free with my student ID in whole Saarland. So that is also included in the semester contribution. So that will be around 250 euros to 350 euros depending on universities. For my universities right now, it is 325 euros for one semester. So that you can calculate as your, just that you are paying for your education. Rest everything is living cost. And for living cost in Germany, like you can easily manage in 600 to 800 euros per month. So roughly it will come around like 10,000 to 11,000 euros a year, which will if you calculate for 2 years, it will be like around 22 23,000 euros. So it's like paying 1 year in Ireland is equivalent to for spending same amount in 2 years in Germany.
Right.
So that's the whole overview of this.
Right. Got it, got it. So usually when students go abroad for masters, for in order to manage their expenses, they also look for part-time jobs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
do students get a similar part-time job opportunities in Germany? And how? What is the legal rules around students doing part-time jobs?
Yeah, okay. So yes, usually people who come from other countries, they usually find a part-time jobs here. Because anyways, for the first year, you should have a blog account, which is a mandatory criteria for a visa if you're applying for Germany. So you can save that amount. But in for initial phase, that amount is very necessary because you cannot do part-time till you receive your resident permit, RP, which you call in Germany. So before that, you cannot do any part time. So at least to sustain to that, maybe for 6 months and 8 months, you need that block amount. So that's why they'll tell to put some block some amount from us so that they'll transfer monthly on a monthly basis. They'll transfer like around 900 euros to your main savings account, and you can spend from that money. After you'll get a resident permit, you have two options. You can directly go for directly like a technical job, or if somebody is like preferring like they don't want to do so much of technical work, there are other part-time jobs which we call as odd part-time jobs, which actually require more manual labor than technical skills. So it can be like working in a cafes like McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, or you can also work in an Amazon warehouse. And there are other manufacturing company who actually hires students in the warehouse to shift items from one place to another place. So that is one kind of job that you can do. So yeah, this is the like two type of part time that usually students do here after coming from any other country.
Right. Is there any restrictions on the total number of hours that students can, being a
Yeah.
student, can work in part time?
Yeah, when I came, it was like you can work for 240 days part time and 120 days full time. Here, full time include 40 hours a week, and part time include 20 hours a week. So mostly you can work for 20 hours a week for a whole year, because when you calculate that thing, it will come around 240 days. But I think recently they have increased it. I also don't know like how many days they have increased, but they've increased some number of hours or some number of days that you can check online. But roughly it will like you can work part time 20 hours a week for a whole year.
Okay.
And again for the next year, it will again like it will again start from the scratch. Again you can work like for the whole year.
Oh,
So it's like that.
right. So,
Yeah.
just wondering from the some of the people, since because it's a master's program, some of the students may have already been married and may have family. So, what support students who have a family get from the government to bring their do the families can be sponsored to bring them to the country when they are still studying as students, and can they work as well? Are there any options of that nature in Germany?
Yeah, I think there is an option. I am not sure about the whole thing, like what benefits that you'll get,
Okay.
but I have seen many people who come here with their family, and they'll usually do their masters or PhD, and their family stays with them. So for sure, there is an option to do that. And I think to bring your family, you should there really are different kind of visa or something. But yeah, there is some provision. I am not sure about it, so I cannot answer like whole detail. But yeah, there it is. There it
Right.
is a provision of that. Yeah.
Right. Now, going back a little bit, I would like to know what are the criterias or requirements needed for the admission? What exam one has to give? And for University of Saarland, like what kind of marks are they do they expect to be competent in
Okay.
getting the admission? Yeah, if you can guess.
Okay. So let's first talk about CGPA, because I don't have a like a proper detail like what is the that one benchmark that I can tell you like above this they can take you and below this they'll not take you. It's not nothing like that. It depends on overall your is a resume and your overall your summary like what you are what work you have done so far. And regarding CGPA, I have seen like if you have above 7, it's actually nice. Like usually you'll not feel, there will be no hindrance regarding that CGPA if you have above 7. But I think it's below 7, then whatever I know till now, I think it should be better if you apply for German what you call German oriented master program so that you can complete your masters in German language. For English, it's better to have 7 above 7. So that's the first thing. And apart from that, for example, if somebody is applying for data science and AI, there will be a criteria. I think they'll change the criteria every 2 year or every 1 year. The one can look on the website of DSAI in Saarland University, like what are the current criteria. When I applied that time, the criteria was you should have some specific course modules in mathematics and computer science, and that was the basic criteria. Your CGPA was the criteria, what projects you have done, and all those things in that similar field. So if we talk about my profile, my CGPA was around 8.9, and I have some previous research experience from my BTech. I had that time when I was applying to research papers, which I worked on and which got published. And after that, I also have some my personal project in the machine learning and AI, basically computer vision, normal machine learning field. And yeah, so that was my overall resume. And after I came here, so many people, actually asked on LinkedIn and other platform, like, what are the criteria, how you got into the university, and the people who are my friends, who are my colleagues, who are studying in the same program, they also have a similar kind of profile. Research paper, I saw like it is not one of the like major criteria that you should have, but if you'll have, it will be much better for you, so that you already know like what kind of because when we'll write research paper in BTech, that will actually give a little bit of hint what masters gonna look like. So that I'll tell everybody, if you can, please do some research work in your BTech before coming here. And CGPA, I think, matters a little bit, not the whole thing, and your projects matters a lot. And also, it's all about your SOPs, your statement of purpose, how you're selling yourself, what you're gonna tell them, what you're telling about you, why you're a great fit for the university, why you want to study in the specific university in a specific country. You should give all those information in an SOP. So it will be much better for the admission committee to make a decision like, okay, this person will be a great fit or not.
Right. So, is there any special exams like IELTS or TOEFL that are expected for German universities?
Yeah. So for English language, either you can give IELTS or TOEFL. I have given TOEFL. Uh, and usually people prefer to give IELTS when we'll apply for European University. But I don't know, when I was comparing and I gave just mock of IELTS and TOEFL, I felt TOEFL is easier. That is a debatable. Actually, some people tell IELTS is easier. But so I gave TOEFL. It doesn't matter. You can give anything. And based on that, you will get a admission on that. GRE is not compulsory for every university, but I think for TU Munich, GRE is compulsory if you want to study a computer science or data science course. And there are, I think, one or two more universities which require GRE. But for Saarland, GRE is not necessary. You can just give an English exam, which can be TOEFL or IELTS. And yeah, that's all.
Right. So, since because we are speaking about the language here, I'd like to make a question on the stereotype people always have. Like, if you go to Germany, knowing German is very essential. If we want to study, people will be expected to learn German in the universities as part of language. And how much in University of Saarlands is one expected to learn fluent in German? And is the medium of education, is it in English? And what language do exams are conducted, question papers are given? How does it
Okay.
German? How does it overall play? If you can give some
Okay.
idea, yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, if you are inside university with your professors, with your colleagues, with your classmates, you'll not require a German at all. Everybody speaks English. All the courses are in English. Exams will be conducted in English. Everything happens in English language. But I feel if you are coming to Germany, you should learn German. That one thing that I didn't follow at that time, because uh, I also asked like same thing. I talk with seniors and stuff. Nobody like focused too much on German language, so I didn't like okay, fine, it's fine. So but after coming here, I got to know if you are in a university environment, you don't need German. You can aram se, I'll tell, like, fulfill your duties and do all the courses. But as soon as you step out of your university, for supermarkets you need little bit of German. For hospital, if you want to go to a doctor, you need little bit of German, uh, because that's the national language of Germany, and everybody expect you also to learn little bit. If you cannot, because I know that language cannot be a forte of everyone. Not it's easy to learn for everybody, but at least to some extent they should know like how to converse. And till I think A2 or B1, everyone should learn German. And but for in working scenario, if you talk about, yeah, I feel German is quite necessary. Uh, Usually, people who come for data science or computer science, usually they'll work in informatics, and um, usually they'll tell like it's not mandatory for a person who is working in IT field to know German. But at the last, the project will be in German. Okay, somebody is explaining to you in English, that is a different thing. Like, that is like, okay, your supervisor is nice and everything. But yeah, most of the companies, the clients are in German, they'll talk in German. You'll feel sometimes you're not getting the full information when you start working with the company, because most of the time they'll talk in German. Sorry, not most of the time. Most of the time they'll talk in English when they know that you are an English speaking person. But yeah, sometimes they talk in German. And so, yeah, I think German is necessary for the outside of university work, but for the inside, for studying, if somebody just telling me like, I just want to come here, complete my masters, and go back. Okay, you can come, do your master's course in English, and if you want to go back, you can go back. But if you are planning to stay for a longer time, if somebody want to do part-time jobs and a full-time after that full-time job, then you should know German.
Right. Is there any specific institution or something, a recommendation for people to learn, a place where one can learn German from your experience?
I think online there are a lot many resource available. I think for the starter, somebody just can start from YouTube, a free tutorial. Then after that, one they'll reach like, because basics, I think A1 you can learn easily from YouTube, and because so many of my friends have done that, they have cleared also A1 just while learning from A1. Sorry, for learning from YouTube. After that, you can see whatever suits you. Right now, one platform is going on, I think Lingoda, and that is like I feel that is like quite good. I've not used it, but I got a very nice review of it. And when you come to Germany as a student, university always give you an option to learn German free of cost. You don't have to pay anything. You just come here every semester. They'll put that German classes. You should enroll for it. It's free. It's free of cost for students, and you can learn in that way the German. Like, you can complete your studies also in 2 years, and you can learn German also in that 2 years, because the courses will be go side by side.
Right. So, coming to another question specific to the course, is this master's course, is it course based or thesis based? And you were mentioning on research papers. So, as part of the curriculum, is the students, in case of thesis based, do they present paper? Can you speak about the course structure and whether it is course based or thesis based?
Yeah, sure. So course structure is basically divided into two parts. The first part majorly contribute to the courses that you have to complete, the credits, and the rest is the master's thesis and seminar, and it's total of 120 credits, and I think around 30 and 12, it is around 42 credits for your whole master thesis, and rest of the credits are for courses. And it's a very research oriented program, I would say, in Saarland, especially in Saarland University. If somebody is coming, they should know beforehand that it's a very research oriented program. It's not of like industry-based program or application-based program, they'll focus more on mathematics and research part of everything rather than the application part of it. For sure, application will be there in assignments. You'll have some coding assignments and the assignment that will make you better at that application part also. But mostly the course structure is designed such a way where they'll focus more on the research and the mathematics part of it. So that's one thing.
Right. So, when we say more on the research side, how does it differ when you apply for jobs? Because there, people will be more focused on professional application of technology rather than research, right? So, I'm just curious.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
we attend the interviews, what did you feel?
I feel like everyone should have some work experience. The one thing that I feel I did mistake was like I came before a work experience because my thought was before like I'm continuing my education, so when I'll complete my BTech, after that if I'll continue to study, it will be much easier for me to complete my masters rather than taking a break, doing some job, taking some work experience, and then coming for masters will be much harder for me. So I did in that way. It worked for me, but it's not working for a lot of people. Um, I feel like if you're coming, you should have some work experience in your respective countries, and it will be much better in that way. You can either have it. I'm not telling like you should have like a 1 year or 2 year, but you should have some experience like as an internship or something. Because and other thing that you should follow here before, if you have planned to get a full time job after your masters, you should always follow on your part time jobs and consider them like those are the building blocks that gonna that you need for your full time job, and you should do your part time job in the similar field if you have planned to take a technical job after your masters, because there is no point of doing odd job if you're planning to take a full time job, because anyways it's pay is almost same. You have to anyways do that job also and this job also. It doesn't matter. So it just with technical job, it's making your profile much better, because you cannot put your odd job like where for what you have worked and how it is relevant to your current part-time full-time job that you're applying for. So I feel the one thing that I felt more, that I'm always competing, because I was a fresher. I was always competing with the people who have like 1 or 2 years of experience, work experience back in India, or more than that. And for sure, company will prefer to take a more experienced person than a fresher.
Right, right,
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, for those students who are planning to pursue their master's education, is there any recommendation on them to pre learn any particular topic or subject which will be very helpful when they do their master's program, when they come for the when they join the university? It will be very helpful if you can spend some time revising some subjects or learning some subjects online. Is there anything that you would
Yeah,
like to?
yeah, that's the case. I think if you're planning to do a master's in DSA, that is data science and artificial intelligence, please revise your concepts in machine learning, computer vision, AI. Go through the data structures a little bit, software engineering a little bit, because these are the courses which are providing, which you will get when you'll come here, and this will be a totally different than whatever we have studied in India. So at least if you have a very clear uh, basics understanding of everything, it will be very easy for you to grasp those things and complete the assignments on time, because it will be a little hectic. What we do in India, it's actually chill. The thing that we'll do in BTech, okay, take any prestigious university also. Okay, people are putting more effort in those, but if for example if you take SRM for instance, we don't have much assignment. Whatever we had, we used to complete in maybe within one night, one day, or something like that, a very short period of time. But after you come here, and if you're doing your assignments, it will actually gonna spend a lot more of your time on that. You just think like your weekends will be busy with your assignments.
Right.
So that's the thing. So be ready for that. And yeah, for sure freshen up your concepts, if what in whatever field you are going through. And when anybody is applying for any university, for example if somebody is getting admit from Saarland University, they can go through the course structures. It's actually available online. They can see the what were the courses that they have provided in the previous semesters. They can go through it. They can see that what are the elements of those courses, what are units that they're covering in those courses. So if somebody feels like doing it, they can do a little bit of revision and freshen up their concepts in those areas. And when they'll come here, it will be much easier for them.
Right. So, for students coming from abroad, since because it will all be a new environment, how good the universities help students to find full-time job in terms of resume building or getting interview slots? Do this universities help or students are on their own? How does it work out?
No, here university actually don't help you a lot in regarding that. You should do everything on your own. Uh, because I came during the COVID time, there was not much happening in the university. Everything was online. There were career fairs that was also online. So they were usually university do the career fairs where you can go attend. You can meet people from different companies. They'll tell what they are doing, what they're expecting in the candidates and all those things. But regarding the resume building, regarding the preparation for interviews and stuff like that, there is no particular thing from university side. You should help yourself here, or you can take help from others, your friends or the seniors whom you know better, and they'll help you regarding the resume thing and your interview preparation.
Right, right. So, coming to a light note, can you please tell us about the city, Saarlands, where um, does it have Indian restaurants? How students manage their food? Do they get Indian groceries? How does the community look like? Um can you please tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. Saarbrücken as a city, this is this small town, and it's happening on weekends. But mostly people are busy on weekdays, so you'll not see more things on weekdays. But if you're going to city on weekends, you'll see a lot of people, a lot of things happening in the city, a lot of fest. Especially in summers, winters will be little off because it will be too cold to go out, and you'll see people doing anything else. But in summers, it's like a festival here. You'll enjoy a lot. For restaurants, yeah, the city is full of restaurants. You can try different cuisines, whether you are a veg or a non-veg, doesn't matter. You have options for everyone and everything. Yeah, no, like if you eat meat or something, you'll have a more option. But if you're vegetarian, you'll have a less option. But yeah, you have something or other thing for to survive. Regarding the day-to-day life, most of the students cook by own their own, and you can take you will get everything in normal supermarkets, which you call here normal, like what we call in India the general stores. Here we call it supermarkets. For example, you can compare the big bazaar of India, which is actually quite big, but here just dilute it little bit and just keep the groceries items there. You'll find all those items in those. And if you want some Indian spices or a wheat flour or a rice, proper Indian rice, you can get it from Indian market, which is available here. I think two or three markets are there, Indian market, which you call as Asian markets. You'll get a whole bunch of Asian foods, in which includes India also. And yeah, so I think it's easily manageable. You should learn a little bit of cooking before you come here. Please know, like some or one or two dishes that you like, how to cook them. It will be easy for you to manage. And apart from that, yeah, you can always order the food outside. It will be a little costly, but yeah, it depends on your personal to personal, personal, like finance and all those things. What budget they are keeping for food. So yeah, it
Yeah.
depends.
Sure, sure. In terms, since you mentioned about the weather, in terms of weather, how does the weather of the city looks like throughout the year? I understand you mentioned about the winter. How one has to be prepared for the winter in terms of clothing? Do they have to buy something from their home country? Um, can you please tell us about that?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, winters will actually very cold here. In Saarbrücken, it will snow also in winters. So temperatures usually go to -2, -3, not more than that. Sometimes you can see like -7, -8, but that is very rare. And if people are coming from the south part of the India, they'll feel more cold here because I can see that, because I'm telling that because I am from the north part and all my friends are the south part of the India, from Bangalore, from Chennai. So they'll feel more cold because the weather there was like, in India is very optimal, not much cold, and here they'll feel more cold in that aspect. And if you're coming from north part of India, like Delhi or Rishikesh or Uttarakhand, then for sure you have experienced some cold weather already in India. So it will be easy. It will be little easy for you to manage. You can bring a jacket, a good winter wear jacket from India if you're traveling in for the winter semester in October, November. Um, and if you're coming for summer semester, then there is no need. You can come here and you can buy one jacket, because anyways you have to buy a jacket here if you're after coming, because the jackets here are like more suitable for the winter weather than whatever you will get in India. So, and the price wise, I think it's same. If you'll take something good in India, also it will cost you around 5,000 to 6,000 if you take a very good jacket. And if you'll come here also, you'll get around in 40 to 60 euros, something, a good one. So yeah, it's same in that cost wise also.
Right, right. So,
Um, yeah.
yeah. So you mentioned that when you applied to Germany, it was a last minute decision. So, but ideally, when one has to be prepared to apply for the university, ideally, what time, how many months before should one send their SOP and all those process when one has to
Yeah.
start?
I think once you start a year, at least a year before, like for example, if somebody is planning to come for winter semester, so enrollment will start in October. So, for example, if it's sorry, October 2025, you should apply from October 2024, and not apply, actually start preparing for it. For example, you can start preparing your resume, your SOP, your LORs, and most of the university open their portal in the month of Feb and March, and they'll be closed by I think April, and you'll have just 2 to 3 months to apply for any particular university. So yeah, it will be good if you have all the documents ready. By when I came that time, not many rules and regulations, but now I think there is an extra check of something that you have to check your documents through a website. I forgot the name, and you should do that also. So I think it's better to have some time beforehand. So I think by at least by December, everyone should have their documents all ready and all settled, and just as soon as the applications will start, they can just apply. They just start applying.
Right, right. Since you also have completed your masters and is now currently working, I would love to know generally in what industries do students from who do this masters program find their jobs? Like in which industry does most of the job opportunities are available?
Okay. First of all, I have not completed my master's yet. I'm still doing my thesis, and
Okay.
I'm also working full time. So basically, I changed my master's from full time to part time because I got a job, and I have completed the major chunk of my master's, which was like completing the theory credits, and the thesis is still happening. Which is again, I feel, is a different struggle for any student who's coming from India to do the master thesis here. I think that we can talk about more detail after this question. And yeah, but I just forgot by telling like what you actually asked me. Like, can you just repeat the question
No,
one more
which
time?
industry does students job opportunities are more? Where
Okay,
do students get
so
most of the interview calls and how does it work out?
I think if you're applying for in tech, I think most of the call you'll get either from companies who are dealing with tech. It can be manufacturing company, it can be IT services company, it can be a product based company. It depends. Like if in market, if they have that vacancy and they need a machine learning engineer, they'll put that as vacancy. If you're matching the criteria, you can go into it. And here you should also, one person should also think about like what they want to take up. Like for example, if somebody is doing AI or machine learning, and but they want to go into automotive, industry, they can mainly focus on those kind of project and those kind of thesis where they can actually shift their career path to the automotive side. If somebody is interested in healthcare industry, they can do their thesis in some domain in which you are using machine learning or AI in the field of medical sciences, and you can just shift your career towards that side. So it depends, but there are a lot of industries, there are a lot of companies who have vacancies, and I think it's gonna be right now little bit market is down. Not many opportunities are there, but I feel like maybe next year or next year or two it will be again same as what it was previously, and it will be there will be a lot of opportunity in the field of data science and AI.
Right. So usually the job post comes through any particular website. Like, is there any famous websites, particular to Germany, where
Uh,
employers post?
Yeah, there are some of the websites which you can look for. The first is LinkedIn, of course. The second here is that works a lot is Stepstone. The third is Indeed, um, uh, and maybe sometime Monster. But yeah, mostly I have applied on LinkedIn, Indeed, and Stepstone, which works good. And one more, I forgot one is the actually Mesa one, the Zinc, XINZ, and that also like it's almost like a LinkedIn version, but which is working in for Germany. You can make your profile and you can start finding jobs there also. So yeah, these are the four main important platforms that one can look a job in Germany.
Right. So now coming back to what we were mentioning related to thesis. So
Yeah.
students, so when students get a full-time job and we're also doing part-time in masters, are they still considered as students? Like, under what kind of work permit, or what kind of permit, study permit or work permit, how does it work out? And you can also speak about the challenges one may face.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I will not advise anybody to do that till you don't have any financial constraint, uh, because people tell like masters is for 2 years, but it's very difficult to complete it in 2 years. And I feel in Saarland it's more difficult because I told you there is the university, the courses are more focused on research side, so you have to spend a lot of time and energy, and finding a thesis topic is kind of difficult here. If say the thing is, if you don't have any criteria, it's very easy for you. You can do your thesis under any group, under any professor, with any topic. But if you want to plan to do something in a specific area, like for example computer vision, so then you should look for the professors who are working there, who in that field, the PhD students or the group who are working in that specific area. And then you should apply like how you apply for the job. Again, submitting a resume, writing a cover letter, writing a mail, and then you can expect a reply from them. Not every time. Most of the time they'll not reply. Most of the time they'll reply telling that there is no vacancy. So that's the thing. And I feel like if you're working part time, for example, in Saarland University, there are so many research groups. Like to name some, there are DFKI, MPI, CISPA. So all those research group focus on different areas, of the what you call a computer science department. And if you're working as a part time, which you call as heavy job, and you are working as a research assistant, then it's more easier for you to take a thesis topic because you're already working with that professor. So it will be more easy for you to to tell them like you need to come do your thesis. They'll give you some topic, or they'll change your heavy topic to your thesis topic, and you can continue working in that. But I never worked in initial phase. I never worked in those research centers because when I came here, I didn't apply for the job for a year because I was more focused on like completing the course modules as much as I can. And after that, I applied. I got internship outside university, and I did that. After that, I thought of doing the thesis. So I started writing mail to professors and the group, but I didn't get much reply from anybody. So I was like, okay, fine. Then I finally got one reply. I started working on that thesis, and I was also doing a part-time job in one of the research centers. And after a year, or yeah, almost a year, I was like, the thesis is not going like what I've expected. It's taking a more time. It depends a lot on you and your supervisor, like how you gonna keep it going. I feel like my research group was not that active in which I was working, so it was delaying for me, and I had my financial responsibilities because I have taken a student loan and came here, and it was about to start the EMIs and stuff. So I started applying for full time job. I got job, then I got my blue card. Saarland University provide that opportunity. Like if you have a blue card, you got a full time job. You just submit those documents, and they will convert your full time masters to a part time masters, in which you can do your masters in part-time manner, and you can do your full-time as like how you're doing full-time job. And but your company should be okay, have to be okay with that. They should give you time to complete your masters also. So that depends a lot on your company and on you, like how you are motivated now. Because I've seen also people, a lot of people like who'll get a full-time job and they'll just leave the masters as it is. Like they were like, okay, anyways we got a job, we don't need masters, so just leave in middle. So that is also on you, like how motivated you are to complete that masters.
Right. So when the course gets converted to part time, is there any specific time period before which you have to complete this part time based course?
No, there is no specific time period. Like we should complete the course. But the thing is, for example, for me, it doesn't make difference because my credits are over. I'm just doing my master's thesis. But if somebody is taking got a job while they still have the credits to complete, so what happen is, for example, now there is criteria like for every 2 semester you should complete 30 credits. So that will reduce to some, I don't know what was the reduced credits because I didn't focus more on that because anyways mine is done. But you can see on online, like they'll reduce it to some number. So for example, if it's 30, you should only complete, maybe 15 credits for 2 semesters if you are studying part time.
Right, right, right. So, in terms of since because this is a research program as well, so those who do the thesis research, are there do any funding be provided, any salary be provided, like for the research that one do? For the students, do they get any funding from the professor or anybody?
No, like if you're doing a thesis in the university under your professor, you'll not get any salary for that. You'll whatever salary you'll get is from your HIVI. So nobody will tell you to leave your HIVI and do the thesis job. For sure, your HIVI, which is a part-time job that I'm referring here, will go side by side with your thesis. So you'll earn from the HIVI, but you have to do your thesis because anyway there's compulsion. So you have to do one student have to complete a thesis to complete the masters. So nobody will actually provide any what do you call the salary or any type of other advantage for that. But if somebody is applying for a master thesis outside university, like for example in some company, their company also actually put a vacancy for master thesis student, and they'll take the student for a period of 6 months. In 6 months, you should complete your thesis, and there are some compensation for that. It depends from company to company. Some company will just give like 500 to 600 euros per month. Some companies will tell, okay, at one together we'll give you 3,000 to 4,000 euros at once. So it depends like from which company you are getting and what is the offer actually, what they want, and the salary depends on that company. And this is also one of the difficult tasks because, for example, if somebody is getting a thesis outside university, like from a company, then but still they have to find a supervisor in the university. And what happens in most of the cases, professors usually not be ready to supervise the thesis which is not of their group and which is outside the university, because they already like their hand they are already like filled with their own research work, and they don't feel like to supervise you on a project of some company. So that is also one thing like which I'll like to mention here. Like if you're trying to complete a thesis here, it's better to do with a professor, with a research group, And if it's more better if you're already doing part-time in that research group and then you're continuing your thesis in the same research group. It will be a more easier option for anybody. But if you're planning to do your thesis with a company, then I think Saarland is not a good option, because here it's not, they are not welcoming, like, more, they are not more welcoming about doing thesis outside, because it's very difficult to find a supervisor for that.
Right, right. So, how friendly is the country for immigration? So, once, yes, you come as a student for doing masters and you also get a job, but what happens next? Like, can if one wants to settle in the country, can one they expect a long-term settlement there? Like, can is it expected? Like, or you have to leave back to your home country after a while? How does the immigration works?
I feel it depends from person to person. According to my personal experience, I feel I will not like to settle for a longer period. My goal is to stay here for next 5 years, 6 years. You know, roam, save up some money, and just go back to India. But it can be a different for different people. What are their roles back in India, what if they have any responsibilities or not, how they're liking this country. I feel the friendly wise country is fine. People usually people tell Germans are not that friendly. That is kind of true, but I feel it depends, like on every individual, like how they are and what they feel about the other person. And for sure, in India, it's very easy to meet your friends. And here, if you have your German friends also, you should always, ask beforehand, like, are you free or not free? Should we meet on that day or not? In India, it's like if plan is ready for tomorrow, you'll just go, okay, come, we are going there, and they're like, how, okay, come. So that cannot happen here. That's the first thing. And regarding other things, other aspect of life, when somebody is looking for settlement in a country, you should always look here for healthcare. And other things, I think salary wise, I feel it's good. If you're getting a job, you'll have a salary good enough to sustain here, and you can save also a bit of money. And but regarding health wise, I feel people tell, like, German healthcare is one of the best. Yeah, it is actually good when you have to go through a bit one of the major surgeries maybe. But if you want a normal appointment from doctors, like if you have a fever, or if you have something, like, very small things that can happen for day to day life. It's very difficult, because here getting a doctor's appointment is actually very difficult. You should wait for a long period of time. And I am actually I also have some physical problems. Okay. And I when I wanted that time, when it was like at a peak, I actually had a back pain, and I wanted to have an appointment. I went there. I was like, I need an appointment as soon as possible. They told, like, it's after a month. So there was no other option. You just have to rely on the medicines that you got from India, and that is very important. Please bring some medicines when you're coming here. So I feel for a long term, for me as a person, for me, if I see, I don't feel like suitable, a suitable country for me to settle down for a long term. I feel India is growing, and in a much better condition. It will grow more in future. So for me also, coming to Germany was only one motivation, because back in 2020 there was not many courses, not many institutes who were providing masters in data science and AI, and wanted to excel in this field. So I came here, and my motive was to complete the masters, get some experience, and then go back to India. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
but that again depends. Like, maybe if you talk with more people, they'll tell, no, it's very good. We are liking everything. Yeah, it's totally depend person to person. You
Right,
cannot
right.
generalize this answer. Yeah.
Right, right. So you also mentioned about the roaming part. So how does the Schengen visa work, like to travel
Yeah,
for
that is, I
different
think,
countries?
the best thing that can happen with you, a Schengen visa. When you will get a student visa, basically your RP, all your destinations in Europe are available for you. You can go anywhere in Europe, within Europe, and you can roam there. It almost cover all major part of the Europe, all the which will come into EU, basically, European Union countries. So you can go to France, Italy, Switzerland, Norway, Sweden, everything you can cover. And that's the best thing. Like you can make use of your student visa and roam as much as possible whenever you get time.
Right. So, as a final conclusion note, is there anything specific you would like to share with the viewers?
I think specific I would like to share with the viewers is don't come here with a mindset like you'll able to complete the masters in 2 years. Yeah, it is possible for sure. It is possible. I'm not telling it's not possible, but maybe for some percentage of the students it's not possible, and it's okay to take it slow because here there is no university also don't have any restriction that you should complete in 2 years. You can take your own time. You can do your part-time job. You can complete your master side by side, and just it's okay. But if somebody is like very fixed in their brains alone, they want to complete in 2 years, and if something will not happen, then they'll feel bad about it. So I don't want to that have that expectation that you can complete actually. And if somebody is also coming planning to do masters, I would suggest everyone to at least have a year or a 2 year of experience, professional experience, and then you can plan for masters. In that case, it will be easier for you to get a job here when you come here as a part-time also in full-time scenario also, because companies anywhere in the world, whether in India, whether in outside India, um, companies prefer people with work experience. And also, third point, please learn some German before coming, maybe a basic level. And when you come here, you can just enroll with your universities and you can learn further. It will actually increase your chances for a full-time job. So yeah, that's all I think from my side. That's a thing that I want to tell viewers, and make a nice SOP, please. Like just tell why you want to study in this specific university and specific country, and then yeah, I think you are good to go.
Great, great, great. Thanks a lot, Akash. I mean, thanks a lot for sharing such a vast knowledge from your experience. I'm sure viewers would have found it much informative. And thanks a lot for taking your time on a Sunday and sharing this information with us.
Thanks, Pankitesh. No issues.